perfect day.
It really is. He would love this kind of gathering too. This is the kind of gathering he used to do all the time. I understand. When in his house. My name is Valerie Bradley, and I'm president of Save Harlem Now, which is a historic preservation organization. And today we're kicking off our 10th anniversary. We were founded in April of 2005. What? 2015. I can't count. And it's also Langston Hughes' birthday.
Yes.
And this is actually the house we lived in for the last 20 years of his life. And it's also the 100th anniversary of the Harlem Renaissance.
That's right.
And Langston was synonymous with the Harlem Renaissance. So what better way to celebrate? And then this is the first day of African American History Month. We're gonna make a lot of history up in here today. But it's also the 60th anniversary of the signing of the Landmarks Law. And we're about landmarks protect buildings, they protect neighborhoods, they keep developers from coming in and changing the face of your neighborhood and knocking down historic buildings. You know, we lost the Lennox Lounge, but we're not going to lose Langston's house. This house was designated a landmark in 1980, so it's very special. And so we have a lot of very significant events that we're celebrating and that we're kicking off tonight. It's, you know, it's like the stars are aligned, and it's very important that we celebrate these kinds of events. I'd like to tell you a little bit about Langston. Langston Hughes was the first African American author to support himself through his writing exclusively. He didn't teach in colleges, and he didn't have a side job. He made his living by writing. Sometimes it was very rough, you can imagine. He earned critical attention for his portrayal of realistic Black characters, and he became one of the dominant voices speaking out on issues concerning Black culture. He wrote 16 books of poetry, 2 novels, 3 collections of short stories, 4 volumes of editorial and documentary fiction, 20 plays, children's poetry, and dozens of magazine articles. His most famous fictional character is Jesse B. Simple, who uses humor to protest and satirize the existing injustices. We need Simple right now. Anyway, this place here at Langston Place was purchased in December 1947 with funds obtained from Street Scene, a Broadway opera that was based on Elmer Rice's play about the pungent life of people living in a Manhattan tenement, which won him a Pulitzer Prize in 1929. Rice collaborated with German-born composer Kurt Weill, and they surprisingly invited Hughes to work on this project as the lyricist. The 2 highly successful white artists, with scores of veteran white lyricists at their command, had asked a Black writer to join their work on a drama dealing almost exclusively with white people. It was so remarkable as to be virtually without parallel in recent decades. Hughes shared this house with his longtime family friends, Ethel Toy and Emerson Harper. They were friends of Langston's mother, whom he lived with them since the 1920s when he was in Harlem for any length of time. On December 12, 1947, Emerson purchased 20 East 127th Street apparently serving as a front for Langston Hughes, whose name would have contained, which would certainly have pushed the sales price up. But when street scenes, he purchased it with the street scenes income, and that's what made the deal possible. This was probably the first time in his life that he had that large lot of money to be able to purchase it. This was his first and only house. The property cost $12,500 with a mortgage of $5,800 carried by the sellers. 3 days later, the deed was conveyed into joint ownership by the two men. A few months later, Toy Harper legally joined the ownership of the property. Langston moved into the house the last week of July 1948. 6 months after his 46th birthday, Hughes for the first time was living in his own home where he would stay for the rest of his life. Langston had the whole top floor. Garden level was dining room and kitchen. Back parlor floor was the Harper's bedroom. The front parlor, where we're sitting now, was the formal living room, and the second floor was rented out as rooms. And I tell you, when I used to conduct tours in the 1990s and the 2000s, they still had room and house tenants here.
We got them now.
Designed by architect Alexander Wilson and constructed in 1869 as part of the post-Civil War building boom in the district by two real estate developers, James Mager and Thomas Hanson, the row house eventually passed into the hands of Ino and Alina Lato, who were among the last survivors of what had once been a thriving Finnish community. The house was designated, as I said, a landmark in 1980. Hughes had a real affection for children. Tony K. Bambara remembers that Langston was often at the library down here at the Harlem Branch Library, right there on 124th Street, off of Fifth Avenue. When she was a child, Tony K. Bambara remembers that instead of sitting in the adult section, Langston would almost always sit with us children, she said. He didn't talk to us or try to draw anyone out. He just liked to do his reading with the children. Okay, there's my second page. David Gibbons, who was the community leader, and I remember when I first met him, he was chair of Community Board 11. He lived on this block, and he said the poet was friendly to all the children around. They did not know him as a celebrity, but as the man who was part of the community. Arthur Kenneth Nielsen recalls 10 years after Langston's death in 1967, the immediate revelation from talking to people on the block who remembered Mr. Hughes was that he was thought of not as the famous writer, but as a loved and cherished neighbor. I realized that number 20 was not just the home of a celebrity. Langston really lived at that address. Hughes had planted ivy that today climbs up the building but was removed from the building several years ago. He also rescued a barren patch of land in front of the house by organizing the children on the block to plant our block's children's garden. He brought plants from Amy Spingarn's Dutchess County estate and let every child pick a flower to plant and nurture. On a picket stake behind each plant was posted a child's name. The New York Times found out about the garden in 1954 and carried a photo and caption in the Around Town column. So that's just a little history about Langston Hughes in this house. And I just want to say, happy birthday, Langston. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, Langston. Happy birthday, Langston. Happy birthday. And so now I'm going to sit down because I'm going to call the owner of this house, Dr. Beverly Prince, who has owned this house since 1985, for her to bring greetings from the house.
Yes.
Thanks. First of all, thank you guys for coming. It's really good to have the house filled with people, especially today. I really wanted to make sure we did today because it's not easy, you know? So what we've been doing is we've been having events. We have events, we call it. So I read about the Harlem Renaissance, and what I got out of it was that Langston and Alan Locke and a group of artists felt that they had to nurture the young artists, and they called it the incubator. So that's what we call ourselves. We call ourselves an incubator. What we have is the young people come and they do their work, and we support them and show them how, and get people to work with them. And hopefully we would like to do that in a bigger scale. But you know, I'm beginning to realize that don't go too big. You know, because do something rather than do something big. Right? To get big, you don't complete your the activity. So that, and then so that's the incubator. Then we call ourselves the midwives. They actually use these words. The midwives, we were taking care of the artists and and stuff. So that's what we do. So I want other people, young people, come and they know that we can try to help them, and then we get them a mentor and stuff like that. And then when we get our big money, we gonna put them upstairs so that artists can come and stay and be part of the house.
Wow.
Okay. So my goal is a little different than some people's. I want to privately do this. I don't want nonprofit money. I'll tell you why. Okay, because you know, nonprofit money is not money, and it's binding. So and plus I'm trying to teach my artists and my people how we can start doing enterprising things and take care of ourselves and get off the nonprofit wagon, which has turned to be very deadly, you know. So we use our own money. We don't have, if you donate anything, it wouldn't be nonprofit, you know. So we're going to start selling little merch, you know, cups and stuff. We do have some cups. We have some cups. And we'll have merch, and through that we'll be able to sustain ourselves, fix our piano up, and continue just being in the community, okay?
Thank you.
Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode? Harlem by Langston Hughes. Give it up for Langston. It's really, I'm really excited to be here. I've never been good at memorizing other people's work, but I've always been a fan of Langston since, well, y'all saw here. It's really great to be a part of the mission, right? March, my organization, Harlem Bomb Shelter, celebrates 13 years of creating open mics and spaces in Harlem for young adults and local artists and things of that nature, and being able to grow and expand. And then also that happens here, a friend of mine, Felicia Cage, she hosts a writing workshop that happens here every Saturday that I've gotten to visit sometimes, and I've gotten to watch, and she takes photos on the stoop, and I get to watch, even when I don't get to be here, but see all the people that increase. Every time I look at it, I say to her, it's been amazing watching your stoop picture increase, and all these people, all these young adults, all these artists are growing in their art and in a space that incubates that type of energy. I know this is a Langston Hughes event, but it's okay if I do some more like original stuff?
Yeah. Yes!
I feel like, I need to ask space permission, because, sometimes we need support for dreams. Not necessarily permission for dreams, but definitely support for dreams. Does anyone have a dream? Look, some people still sleep, and that's good. No, listen, because waking up is the hard part, because then you got to make the dream happen,
That's right.
I awakened wondering how many bodies have we buried alive? How many dreams do we perform funeral rites over? To asthmatic, to perform mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, withholding the breath of life because we didn't tend to our own collapsed lungs. How many seeds have we murdered? Planted, but never watered, blocking the sun rays with shades of our own words like, I'm not good enough. I wasted too much time. I'm too old. I'm too young. I didn't do what I needed to do to go where I'm trying to go. I might as well just give up and let my dream die. But like Langston said, whatever happens to a dream deferred, placed on pause and put through puberty, well, apparently your dreams differ. So it happens when your dream differs. Self-identifies different than you designed, and your dream decides to dream bigger. What would happen if we dream bigger? Let our dreams suffocate in a cocoon that feels like a sarcophagus. Could you hold your breath long enough to complete the metamorphosis? Take on the injections of life to invest in becoming a butterfly. When you're about to sprout wings and feels like you're about to die, we give up and sit on your butt or fly. When that rushing roar inside your vein becomes a whisper, I remember I am a necromancer. I speak to dead bodies. Speaking life where there seems there is none, I speak truth. Even buried in a cemetery, we are never alone. I speak power. The straw that broke the camel's back didn't do it on its own. I speak love. It takes less energy than hate, and only one of the two takes courage. I speak joy, for I speak to my people with truth, power, and love. A spark in the eye speaks back, igniting a torch that my people burn like a furnace, folding iron into steel. We be gods. Life and death are in the blaze of our tongue. Our energy is neither created nor destroyed. With instances that say, we were here the day before yesterday, we'll be here the day after tomorrow. There's pressure in our blood and sickle in our cells, can we forge swords from sorrow. We are infinite. Even when we forget who we are, when our souls are just like ghosts, longing after dead bodies of dreams long forgotten, we bring them back like zombies, because baby, we still got them, and this is not the end.
Well,
I was back and forth with the other piece I wanted to do was, I'm gonna take a little risk, and you guys can join me on this journey. All right. So one of the things I think is so amazing about Langston and Renaissance artists and really everyone that I've looked up to is this idea of walking in your godhood, right? This understanding, like not to say that you are the God, this idea that you are a creator, right? This idea that you can bring things to life. The idea that Langston's legacy lasts way beyond 100 years, right? This idea that we each do that. So if you could join me on my own mantra that I do for myself when I'm looking in the mirror and I'm not quite sure of things, I remind myself that I am a God, right? So join with this. So when I say, you say, I be a God. You say,
I be a God.
You say,
I be a God.
When you step to the mirror and see you looking back at you, crossed eyes, crooked smile, crunched lips, curled nose, and a Cabbage Patch Kid hairdo. When you don't recognize the sight you see and every scene you've seen seems odd. When your reflection is blue, you know what to do. You say,
I be a God.
And you are. And this right here is practice. That weight on your shoulder, you carry it well because, my God, you're Atlas. Your pelvis pushes planets. Got galaxies in your jaw. You're surrounded by darkness because you are the star. And you say,
I be a God.
Damn, and you're looking good too. You be a star because no one do what you do. How you do what you do, if it wasn't a you, every smile you placed on a face would wash away too. And when you're watching, your watchers watch the way you work like FBI espionage. Give them a good show so when they gossip, you know, they'll say, you say,
I be a God.
And when they write diss tracks, posts, poems, articles about you, ignore it. It's not important. But if that biographic is Grammy nominated, then gangsta, get your credit. We ain't ghosts, we ghost writers.
That's right.
No need to lie, we outliers. We MJ, this is it. We outbox, we don't fit. Our bowl be super, their bowl be toilet, they know either. You're Ray Charles on tour with Stevie Wonder. They're Ray Charles giving a tour to Stevie Wonder. They don't see where you're going. It's like they got glaucoma and a glucose allergy while you're getting the bread. No wonder they're the blind eating the blind.
Do it again. Do it again.
You're Ray Charles on tour with Stevie Wonder. They're Ray Charles giving a tour to Stevie Wonder. They don't see where you're going. It's like they got glaucoma and a glucose allergy while you're getting the bread. No wonder they're the blind eating the blind. You don't get it, that's okay. That's my fettuccine.
It's okay. Bring it back one more time.
What I mean is, we season these pasta bars till there's no time left. They ain't seeing past the bars till there's no time left. They're seeing the past the borrow till there's no time left. The collection plate reflects, and when you look down, you see a dime in it, and that's you. Pressed down, shaking together until you diamond it. Shine through. Give it all you got. When you say, I be a God, don't let them tell you you're not. You're not better than nobody. You just body your block till everybody on your block is saying,